Hey man, how the hell you doing? I've been just fine, living life with the noose, and in my mind, all I hear is music. Watching your mouth move, damn you look stupid. I feel like everyone's a stranger. Small talk with your narcissistic neighbor. She's real hot, but they said to never date her. I agree, but you did and I hate her. You wanna get away? You better get in line. Won't go another day of wasting any time. I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. 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 Hey man, can I get a favor? Yeah, sure, no, see you later. Sometimes I just wanna be a hater. Gotta wash down the top 40s with a chaser. Your voice starts feeling like a waiter, scraping my mind against a cheese grater. Before you go, sir, you have to sign a waiver. That's alright, I'm aware of the danger. You wanna get away? You better get in line. Won't go another day of wasting any time. I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. 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 No filter, I got no filter.
All right, there we go with Guns and the 701 and gunsandthe701.com. I'm Mike and Vance here with me. Of course, we're missing everybody today. Jamie had something come up all of a sudden, and so we got to let him go out tonight. But also, Clay is out tonight, and well, it's just me and you, Vance, covering all the Second Amendment stuff.
That's right. Good to be here. Glad to see Mike. Glad to hear Jamie had to step out at last minute. His daughter was in an accident, but it sounds like she's okay.
Yep.
But he had to go take care of some business.
All right. You want to do this one for me here real quick?
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, this is very important, shall not be infringed.
We should put this is very important in there. That would be the best part. So yeah, talking about Second Amendment stuff today, we got a lot on deck. We're going to be doing a kind of a rapid fire thing, talking about Colorado today. Today and tomorrow and Friday, they've got 8 bills they're pushing through that are all pretty negative. I would say negatory to all our gun owners out there and Second Amendment enthusiasts. So with that in mind, we've got to make sure that we are acknowledged. This is basically the game plan that all the states are trying to do. These 8 different ones are just 8 of the top ideas that the Democrats are trying to push in state capitals right now. So it's one of those things that we want to hit. Also, well, I got to tell you, Vance, of course, I'm in the 605 right now. I'm down in Mitchell, South Dakota. You're over in Georgia. I think this is kind of like one of those where if you don't have somebody with one foot on the 701, we're not sure we can call it that, but we're gonna call it that for the day as Clay is out and everything.
Well,
but
you're close to it, and I lived about a mile from it before, so we can represent.
Yeah, we can represent. So, yeah, taking a look real quick. And of course, if we got some comments out to the side, feel free to let us know what you're thinking. Thanks, Eric, of course, from the paint booth. Of course, fish painting booth, that is. He is working on that tonight. And we'd love to hear from all you guys. Brian Warner out there as well. Of course, the MVEs. And One Shot Nap or Cap is out there once again, and we do appreciate that. Everybody helping us out. Of course, and it all is possible through help with our sponsors, LAUER Auto, of course, Axel and the gang from LAUER Auto Repair, and of course at 309 South Washington Street. And we've got them that always take care of you with the very best. And like we say, if you're going to go to somebody who supports your ideas in the Second Amendment and more, then that's the place you need to go to get your car worked on. LAUER Auto Repair. Also, Double H Guns in Bismarck, as we've got those guys out there. I was just talking about. I got my 8mm finally for my Mauser. So I got to thank the guys from Double H. So I've got a couple boxes of those now to start me off with. Now I just need about 50 more, and then we'll be good. So that's usually how it works out.
So that is one of those small shops that's able to find the hard stuff, right?
Right, and that's the one thing is, of course, Double H Guns found those for me. They can find those hard to find ammo and guns for you, and the parts as well. And as much as the government wants to take all those options away from you, we're here to tell you that, of course, Double H Guns is fighting for your freedom as well.
And Mike, that's always to me been the benefit of your smaller local shops like Double H. They care. They build a relationship with their customers. They care what their customer wants, and they probably went and did the research and found the ammo that you need. If you go to one of these giant conglomerates, you're just another number. You're just another customer. There's going to be 100 more like you the rest of the day, and they are not concerned about your needs.
Next, that's usually what it is.
That's
as soon
right.
as you're
Next.
done with it, it's next.
Right.
The next person.
And that's the benefit of those supporting small local shops like Double H Guns.
Now, I don't say that some of the big gun stores don't have guys and gals that shoot the guns and everything they talk about, but they don't have the variety. And they don't have the variety. They don't have the They don't have the fever for the Second Amendment, as well as we've seen a lot of big box stores out there have kind of been waffling quite a bit here over the last few years, the last decade, I should say.
Right.
I want to talk about a few things real quick. Of course, I'll tell you what, we'll promo it. And of course, you were trying to get Tess to come on here. Of course, we've got a big show coming up next week as well. We've got Tess. Talk about Tess here for just a little bit.
Tess Talley is, I had the privilege of doing an interview with her. I want to say maybe 4 years ago now. My wife and I went up to Kentucky and met with her and a friend of hers, and got to meet her dad. Super nice guy. And Tess was known, I don't know if she still is, but she at one time was known as America's most hated hunter. She might have been the most hated in the world. I don't know.
Because of that.
But Tess, because of that right there. That giraffe was, and Tess is on here. She can correct me if I'm wrong. She'll be a special guest with us next week. That giraffe was 18 years old. That's why its coat is so dark. And as giraffes mature and gain age, their coats get darker. And that's why that giraffe is dark. People have said it's a rare black giraffe. It's endangered and all this other stuff. And that's just misinformation and misinformed people that don't take the time to go educate themselves.
Well, it's the same people that said that she threw all kinds of clips down at her. So
right. I've seen the videos, and she put one shot, and I think.
Well, that's the thing about conservation. If you want to look at it like this, poachers. I totally agree. If they get a bead on a poacher, take them out. But as far as the animals and all that is a well organized and categorized event over there. And all the different countries that do this type of stuff. I mean, they have them tagged and numbered and everything else. And of course, they filter out the older ones. They filter out the infirmed ones. Right. And to be mad at Tess, I mean, you think about it. And of course, she probably got the fur and everything for the mounting and everything. I'm sure for that. But all that meat goes back to the community that she's hunting in. I know that happens a lot of times.
And that was the textbook of a conservation hunt. She'll explain more next week when she's on, I'm sure. But just to give a brief backstory on it, that bull was 18 years old. The bull was doing what a lot of wild animals do. This bull was killing younger bulls in the herd, hurting the herd so that it couldn't grow. Now, if I remember the story right, I'm a little fuzzy on it, but Tess can probably verify. Since she killed that bull, some other giraffes have been born into the herd. So it was exactly what needed to happen. That bull needed to be taken out of the herd so the herd could thrive and the younger breeding bulls could continue to help the herd. And that is why conservation hunting is so important, because some of them have to be taken out. The government said, take it out. So
Tess is with us on our thing here right now, so we do appreciate that, Tess. Hey, Tess, how are you? Of course, always good. We're going to really look forward to talking to you next week on the show and getting to know about, we talk about cancel culture in the world, and of course they tried very hard on Tess, and you know what? It shows the perseverance and the strength of her own character that she wasn't going to allow them to stifle her and shut her up. And you know what? She did a good thing. She did the proper thing. She did all the dots the I's and cross the T's and all that other stuff. And she did it right. And of course, they're trying, well, everything should live and there should be no management whatsoever. And this is, here's one of the things that people don't understand. When cities build up, it pushes out wildlife. You've got to manage wildlife. I got to find a picture for next week. I found a politician that was promoting the endangered deer in the United States,
which are
the endangered deer, just plural deers. Yeah, they're endangered because obviously because of hunters and cars. Which you should understand that there'd be a lot more car damage if there wasn't hunters out there thinning that herd. And you know what? We don't wipe out. I mean, we get what? A tag. We might get a doe and we might get a buck. But that's what we get. We don't go out there and shoot at everything that comes around. And it's just ridiculous. And it's that Hollywood narrative once again that continually.
And part of Hollywood was some of the ones that were attacking Tess. There were celebrities, comedians, Ricky Gervais, Deborah Messing. They were literally giving out Tess's address in a state that she did not live in anymore, and the house had children in it. So they were very dangerously, recklessly giving out Tess's private information, and could have caused some problems.
Yeah, well, what? They don't care about that because they're not going to report on that part of it.
Right.
They're not report on what their dangerous consequences to their actions are. But of course, we'll be talking to Tess next week, and that's right, Tess. We'll be talking to Tess next week. We have a great show planned up with her, and of course Vance, and also with Clay. And
Tess, correct me, is Andrew going to be with us next week too? Andrew is a great patriot. Dude is conservative. He's very smart with the Constitution and knows what's going on and knows what needs to happen. And I would look forward to hearing from Andrew as well.
Cool.
Awesome. Andrew will be with us next week.
Good. So, we're going to go ahead and do this in a different way. Like we started the Second Amendment, what do we call that now? I forget. Bullet points, Second Amendment bullet points last week. So we're going to run through these 8 different laws that they're shooting for over in Colorado and around the country. But I've got this for us real quick. So let's take a look at this. See, you give me a computer and I make stupid stuff. There you go. I finally made something that works on the computer. So that's the good thing right there. Hey, I'll start off with number 1. And here we go with what Colorado, they were talking about it today, as a matter of fact, in the House Judiciary Committee. Safe storage in vehicles. The bill prohibits leaving a firearm in an unattended vehicle unless the firearm is stored in a locked hard side container that is not left in plain view or that is locked in the trunk. $100 fine. The inaction date would be coming up the 1st of 2025. Got to talk about that. I think that is just one more way that they're going to look to for people with Second Amendment bumper stickers and everything else. They're going to be looking for all that stuff. And if you don't have it locked up in what they wanted you have locked up, I mean, let me ask you, if you go trap shooting, you just take your shotguns, you put them in the back seat or whatever, and usually you drive to the thing. Well, now that's illegal. And so you walk out of your vehicle to go in and sign up for your trap shooting tonight, and that's illegal. So you've got.
And that's very Canada. They already have that in Canada, Mike.
I believe it.
Canada, we had some friends come down and do a TV show with us down there at Florida Hog Hunt, and they were absolute. We had some full autos and class 3 stuff out there, and they were dumbfounded that we had that stuff out there and could actually shoot those. So I asked them some of the Canada laws, and one of them said he can't have ammo and a gun in his car on the way to the range. Only a gun out of his reach, locked. No ammo in the vehicle at all. You have to get the ammo on the other side.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
And that's just one of the many things that they're bringing up. So, we talk about this, and this Colorado is pretty much what they're doing in every state across the country. They're trying to whittle away everywhere they can to make the law enforcement of our country have to make that decision of going out and, revenue hunting for gun owners is what they're going to do. And that's one of the things I believe. And so I'm sorry if you disagree with me, but, cops are forced to be revenue hunters for cities and municipalities. I mean, that is just a done deal. They've been doing that for years with the speed traps and everything else, and these small and big towns alike. And they've got quotas, and they say they don't. They got quotas. They got so much they got to get met. And so, that's pretty much what I've got for that thing. I think that's a dumb. I think locking up your gun? Yeah, I think locking up your gun is an important thing. We want to stop people from breaking into vehicles. If you are a Second Amendment supporter and you have the bumper stickers and more, then you've got to be doubly careful that you park your car somewhere that it's going to be broken into. So, you've got to take some things. But this is just putting an undue burden onto people, once again, to have to pay more money to keep themselves legal when they're not the ones that are problem. The ones that are problem are the ones that are breaking the law.
And when I was growing up back in the 80s, you probably remember, Mike, that
I do.
I didn't go to, well, we won't get into my high school career or lack of, but as teenagers, it was very common to have shotguns and rifles in it was popular amongst us little redneck punks to have your gun rack in your pickup truck with a shotgun and a rifle in it,
right,
all the time. We didn't see all the stuff that we're seeing now. We didn't see all of the mass shootings and things going on. I mean, and this was very common in the parking lots of high schools to see trucks like that.
Yeah, I know. And, those weren't the problem people. Those weren't the people causing the problem. So anyway, we're coming up on 18 minutes. And, of course, we've got 7 more things to hit real quick. So let's go ahead and hit a double commercial for us real quick from our great sponsors. I'll have a drink of something, and we'll get it done. And then I'll talk also real quick about why I'm wearing this hat today, because, of course, my Guns in the 701 one was absconded by. So we'll talk about that coming up right after this.
At least you got one.
Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns in the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Discover the world of firearms at Bismarck's Double H Gun Shop. With a wide range of products from handguns to rifles, we cater to all your shooting needs. We are your local gun experts. Not only do we sell firearms, reloading supplies, targets, and whatever your heart desires, but we also have a ton of knowledge and answers.
We shoot, we hunt, we compete, we reload.
It's been the Howard's way since 1976, and we ain't fixing to change anything. Visit our website at hhgunshop.com to browse our inventory. Double H Gun Shop, Bismarck's best new and used firearm reloading supply, gunsmithing, and sporting goods store. Double H Guns.
Double H Guns.
1021 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Call 701-223-4888.
All right, we're back to Guns and the 701 and gunsandthe701.com. It is Mike and Vance tonight as everybody else is out. We got other stuff going on. But before we go on to the next one, what you got?
I just want to throw a plug in there at Lauer Auto. I recently, as y'all know, did the annual hog hunt with the Brax Adventure Team down in Florida.
Right.
And Axe from Lauer Auto joined us on that hunt. And we had one of our old swamp buggies down there that had sat for 2 years. In fact, I was the last person to drive it. I sat it. I parked it, and it sat for 2 years. And he came down there and jumped on that thing and went to town on it and had it running in no time. Very knowledgeable and very hardworking. I would, if I still lived up that way, that would be my mechanic. Is Lauer Auto.
One good thing he had on his side is it didn't have a lot of computer chips in it.
It did not. It did not.
Does not.
A 1979 Ford Bronco is what the chassis is.
Well, real quick, I'll talk about my hat real quick. I usually have my Guns in the 701 hat, which you can get at gunsandthe701.com. I'm still waiting for yours, I know. The reason I'm wearing this one is my son goes, "That's a great hat, Dad. Let me have that one." I says, "Well, why don't you just go on gunsandthe701.com and buy it?" He says, "Great. Give me your credit card." So I'm like, "Just take it." So, and I'll get another one. So there, I see how that works real quick. So yeah, so I'm wearing this one for tonight. But So don't forget to check out some of the stuff we've got at gunsandthe701.com. And of course, you can also check out. Let's see if I point properly here. Right there. You can also go on there for Guns in the 701 donations as well, as we can always talk about that. And real quick, we'll get back to the show, and we've got a lot going on. And there we go with the new Second Amendment bullet points. Now, this one's for Vance. Now, this one's a good one. Do you want to read this one?
Sponsored by anti-gunner Stephen Woodrow. This bill requires all gun owners to obtain liability insurance. Insurance companies have the right to deny insurance to individuals who are a risk. If denied, the gun owner must petition the court for an exemption, which the court can deny. The enaction date is 1/1/25. So insurance for your
on
guns.
that one, the insurance. You go ahead. You've got this one.
Insurance to me, I know it's very important. It's very valuable, but it's one of those things we pay tons of money for, say, car insurance. You might never use and you pay thousands of dollars into. Now they're wanting you to insure your guns, which I have a lot of guns that sit in my safe and don't get used. I collect. They're there. They're sitting there.
Well, you got to pay for them. That's what they want.
Right. Now, am I going to pay for each gun that I own? And what am I insuring?
See, I've already got my guns underneath my insurance policy so that if there's a fire in the house and the safe, goes longer than the safe can handle, that my guns are covered. So, I mean, I've got that taken care of. But like I said, if my insurance company didn't want to insure me, I definitely would let people know they don't want to insure me because I've got guns. But of course, this thing is talking about one more hoop to jump through for gun owners, not only trying to milk money out of people that do own guns, especially those that own more than one or two, that now they have to go to a court and tell the court and petition the court, Your Honor, the court for an exemption, which the court can deny, and of course makes you a criminal because you're not giving up your guns. Well, they're going to come and take them then because now they've got a reason. So there you go. Now you didn't pay your tribute to the king. So now you've got to go in there and have your guns taken away. And this does not say anything in this law about who deems the risk. We all have exes. We all have people that don't like us out there. I mean, that's just the way it is. Tess is a great example of that. Could somebody call up the local sheriff and say, I think Tess is a danger to everybody, and then the sheriff's got to go and inspect all their stuff? I mean, same thing with me. Because I do a Second Amendment podcast, because I'm an avid gun owner, and because I promote it and safe shooting and for kid shooting and everything else, for shotguns and whatever, am I a danger? Who is this person that is making this known that I am the risk? And why all of a sudden am I the risk when we can't put away people in jail? When we've got New York City that are bringing the Democratic governor is bringing all kinds of U.S. guard troops into their subway systems because their subways are so unsafe. They're doing that, but they're telling me that I'm the problem, that I'm the one who's causing the problem. Yeah.
Who are they to determine who is unsafe? When I go hunting, I take, like a lot of hunters, more guns than I'm going to need. Mm-hmm. Say I come back from hunting and I am getting out of my vehicle and I'm pulling out 5 or 6 guns, and my neighbor sees that and thinks I'm some sort of wacko, reports me, and they come think I'm some sort of gun nut. Could you imagine when we were doing the NRA banquets, the amount of guns that we had in some of those venues if they saw us loading and unloading 30, 40 guns?
Well, we had a lot of different events where, it was, of course, it's usually in a private banquet room and this and that. And, people would see us throughout the day, workers and everybody else, loading these things in, setting them all up. And, we get questions all the time. But, who's to say who's going to be saying all of a sudden we're a danger because they lean too far to the left. I mean, it's ridiculous. Tests, of course, it's harder for law-abiding citizens than the ones breaking the law intentionally and the illegals with the bad intentions. And that's what it comes down to. So instead of going after and codifying the laws that we already have on the books to actually make people pay for the consequences of their actions, we are instead letting people off with shorter jail times or no jail time who commit violent crimes and are out there and are repeat offenders. But no, it's their situation. It's their that, and I'm like, it's absolutely ridiculous. I work every single day. I'm 56 years old. I don't have any of those on my record because I don't do those type of things, and I'm a gun owner. But I'm the one who's going to be suddenly the risk to the community.
That's right. And before long, I think it was Brian over here said nothing like making the victims the criminal. And that's exactly what they're looking to do, is turn around the laws and make us law-abiding citizens the criminals, because they keep adding laws. I'm sure you know this, Mike, but the Second Amendment, thou shalt not be infringed.
Right.
Since that was written, there has been over 22,000 laws on guns. State, local, federal, over 22,000 laws on an amendment that says thou shall not be infringed. And people say, well, this law is not going to affect your Second Amendment right. This law is not going to do this. Law after law after law after law, they keep pecking away. It's like the braces a couple of years ago, the bump stocks.
Right.
I had some, and I'm not a fan. They were a novelty for your gun. They made them very,
and we've seen novelties come and go over the years.
Right. But by outlawing those, that was just one more, and one more law that they keep slide. It's a slippery slope. It's just they just keep adding to it.
Remember when Charter Arms came out with a really cool Thompson semi-automatic 45 in the guitar case, and we had those at a few events and stuff like that. Love those things. Always wanted to have one, especially with the drum, but I like the stick myself. I love those things. And now that I can buy those aluminum 45s, you can save a lot of money because you can go through a drum pretty fast. Yeah. But I love those things, but we caught a lot of flack on those because, that's just a gangster gun. That's just, you don't see unless you're watching the movie channel or whatever, the classic movie channel, Turner movie classics. You don't see those anymore, and nobody's running out. You know how much those things cost? That's $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. And plus you're talking about the ammo. I'm not committing crime. If I was going to commit a crime, I'm not doing it with that. And it's just, dumb. It's just dumb stuff. But anyway, it's just one more thing that they're trying to drag us down to their level as well. Force the laws on the books. Of course, yeah. And that's just, what? We need to streamline a lot of those laws too, because so many of them are redundant. So many of them are out of place. Even our 1934 statute that they've got on the books for the semi-automatics and automatics and all that stuff. That needs to be cleaned up. But that's the problem I have, is because we don't have compromise in our government. Now, I say I want to clean up the laws. They say, well, fine, we'll do that. The compromise is that you lose your gun rights.
Right.
There's no compromise in that. You know, you taking away particular rights that allow me to own and possess firearms is not a compromise. That is not in the books, and it's not going to work.
That's right.
You want to go for the next one? I'll hit it
let's
up here
go
real
ahead.
quick.
Move
All
on
right.
here.
I just love hitting that. I don't know why.
Man, speaking of guns, old Arnold was kicking back then, wasn't he?
No, he was then. Guns and ammo tax, sponsored by the House Majority in Colorado. Majority Leader Monica Duran. She puts it will put an 11% gun and ammo tax initiative on the 2024 presidential ballot. The enaction date is 4/1/2025. One thing, another tax. That's what they want. They want another tax. And if you don't pay, I mean, you're going to have stamps for your guns. You're going to have stamps for your ammo that you buy. You're going to have to be able to prove to somebody out there in law enforcement, if they want to enforce this crap, that I've got my tax paid. And that's just one more hurdle to put in front of gun owners that are legal and trying to do the right thing to make it difficult for them to possess anything. And of course, raising the money on guns and taxes and ammo is just one more way to squeeze out the mom and pop businesses as well. I mean, the margin is not exactly huge for those guys anyway, but you're talking about one more thing that is not going to help them. This isn't like the Pittman-Roberts tax that goes supposedly to gun ranges and everything else. This is going to go to like the anti-smoking thing, where they had all these anti-smoking truth commercials out there. That got paid for by the cigarette companies, as a matter of fact. Of course, they tax them and then use the money to make these anti things. And I'm like, you got people working in these ad agencies for 20 years and making money off the thing that they hate so much, supposedly. So, and it's the same way with this. I thought the Supreme Court already ruled this stuff like this was unconstitutional. That's the thing. It doesn't matter what the Supreme Court has said anymore, because nobody's listening to the Supreme Court, and nobody is paying attention to that. They're going to keep throwing it up on the wall. They're going to keep throwing it up there, and in every single state. And when this is happening in every single state, it's going to muddy the waters that much more. So you're going to be able to reciprocity to move from one state to another, and to go hunting. It's like guys down in Georgia, when you guys went down to, when you went down to Florida. It's going to make things even more difficult. I mean, suddenly, instead of going on a hunting trip, like me, I go up to the northern border of South Dakota and cross over into Clay's territory of North Dakota. And suddenly, of course, because of some law being passed, I'm committing a crime, or going over to Colorado when I'm over on the west side of the state. It just is baffling. You're supposed to be able to keep up with all this. And even the lawmakers can't keep up with all this crap, because they keep throwing stuff up on the wall, hoping anything will stick to get their name on some thing saying that, oh, I did this for the community. I made it safer. Well, you didn't. Because if you were making it safer, you'd be taking criminals out of the system, not people like me, not people like you. You take criminals out of the system. We wouldn't be going after girls like Tess. We wouldn't, or I should say woman. I'm sorry, I'm old. Like Tess, you wouldn't be allowing. I mean, that's what we should spend more time on is that how can you have people go off and totally blindside and try to ruin a person's life because of what they believe. I'm not going out and trying to, I see a Democrat in my neighborhood who's got a sign up for whatever, and I'm not going out bad-mouthing them all over the place. I tell everybody that knows me what I feel, what I stand on, and what I believe, and I tell them the reason. That's what I do. If you want to follow that guy, feel free. But if that guy wants to just take away rights of his own, he doesn't care that he has his own rights, it's absolutely ridiculous. And don't let me keep talking, Vance. You can talk.
Got a little passionate about that one, Mike.
I did get a little passionate there.
Listen,
I've been sick all day, so I'm just finally getting some juice in me. So yeah.
The tax thing really bothers me. We've heard this a lot before. It might have been Biden that was talking about some ridiculous 100% tax or something at one point. It was something absurd. But their goal is going to be to where the average common man like us can't afford to go buy a gun. You know, Jack he's at that
16
age,
Yeah.
16 years old. Oh yeah, he's, you know, you want to go buy your boy a Savage Axis, which was when we were doing them for the banquets were what, $350 a package gun.
Right.
They want to tax those things to where they're a $600-700 gun, to where your average working man can't afford to go buy his son or his daughter an average starter's gun. They want to tax you out of being able to afford it because the Second Amendment is protecting it. They can't take it from us. So they want to keep adding laws to it. And I forget who it was earlier said, enforce the laws that are in place.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we need to do.
One more law is going to work. There's over 22,000 in place right now. And you think one more is going to solve the problems? It's not.
Yeah.
There's a man we need to have on as a guest right there.
Yeah, we do. We keep saying that, Gene. We need to have you on. We need to figure that out. Of course, they can't answer the questions on what they're going to do if the program works. It's true. And we saw that the guy who's in charge of the ATF doesn't know his, anything. What happens to the anti-smoking, and if the anti-smoking stuff works? It's right. I mean, they're trying to do the same thing with guns. It's not the same thing. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Of course, like Brian Warner here said, of course, it didn't say sales tax.
Right.
So you wonder what that means and where does it go? And that's why I think it'll go to programs like that. It'll go to anti-gun programs trying to because people aren't giving money to anti-gun programs like they do the NRA, like they do Guns of America, like they do other groups. They're not giving money like that. That's why they're always behind in their fundraising and we're always ahead. There's a reason, because people on both sides, no matter what they say, believe in the Second Amendment. And we got to tell you, every time I hear some politician, especially on the Dem side, saying that, well, 90% of the people agree that this gun confiscation and this gun law and this and all that will work. And I'm like, you find me a group of 10 people that I can find them to agree on anything at 90% in here, other than, I don't know. But it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, those talking points get old. I get tired of hearing them. And of course, like we were talking earlier about things in the Constitution. Yeah, it's stuff that's gone through the Constitution, and it's going to go back through the Constitution again because they're going to keep trying to do it until sometime they get it right. We've got a court right now that will stop them, at least fingers crossed, stop them. And that's what we're hoping for. So, yeah. Go ahead. Well, I mean, after all, taxing us, nonstop for our safety. Let's work so well out for cars and trucks. I mean, that's why you can't buy a stock vehicle for less than $82,000 now. And I'm like, my first car was $500, and my first 2-3 cars were like $500. You know what? They worked. It just drives me nuts. Let's tax everything. Let's just tax. That's what the country needs. More taxes. Thanks, government. Yeah, that's exactly what we don't need. So
it's theft. We all know it.
All right, I got to shut up for a few of these, Vance, and let you talk. I'm sorry. Let's let you hit this one real quick, and I won't hit
what's the next one? Gun. Oh, this bugs me. This bugs me bad. This bill creates a new merchant code to track firearm purchases at local FFLs. It's tracked. Your FFL tracked it.
Yep.
The Attorney General's office can access those records and flag irregular transactions. The inaction date is 5/9/4. Now,
this year.
Tell me what an irregular transaction is, Mike.
Well, they're going to say that I bought over 1,000 rounds, which thank God I bought 2 boxes of 22s. So
that's 1,000 rounds. We probably did that easily at one of our NRA range days.
Yeah. I mean, and to tell you the honest truth, if they ever go on sale anywhere, I mean, there are some 223, cases and boxes I like to buy. I love buying Winchesters. Always got things in my email for a discount on a box in a crate, one of those cool Winchester crates for shotgun shells, the AA's and whatnot. So, I mean, I'm always looking for deals. So those types of sales will flag me, and I will all of a sudden be so what they want is that, well, you're going hunting, so we're going to allot you 4 bullets. You should be able to get everything done in that, right? And by the way, bring back the brass, because we don't want you reloading it too. So I'm sure that's what they're going to want to do.
There is not supposed to be anything such thing as a registry, is there?
And exactly. And that's exactly what they're doing. It's a gun registry. It has been legislated to death, but this is another thing. We talked about this a little while ago. It's another thing to put on our local FFLs as well. Attorney General's office, I guess that's for each state. Those records can flag irregular transitions. Well, you know what? Once again, it comes on down to what flags you. Is it that somebody in your neighborhood who's so far to the left that they just can't stand that you drive a big pickup truck, or that I don't care if you drive a Prius and you got a Second Amendment gun sticker on your car or something like that you're a danger? Well, you know what? That's what all they're saying. They can call in and they say, well, we'll have to investigate this guy because he's now on our list.
What if, say I used to have a Trump campaign sign in my front yard. My neighbor across the road had a Biden sign. What if he saw me coming back from one of my hunting trips, and I do have an NRA tag on the front of my big pickup truck, saw me coming back from one of my hunting trips, and I'm pulling out 5 or 6 guns out of my truck, got a gun strapped on my side, and he thinks, whoa, one of them Trump gun-toting guys, he must be a nut. Boom, red flag, call me in.
Well, what about that?
Just because of my truck and my political beliefs, I'm a nut. I
believe South and North Dakota are both open carry states, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if the one gun that I always regret selling was my Ruger Vaquero 45. I kick myself in the butt every day, but I had a beautiful. I kick myself in the butt every day because I used to do cowboy fast draw shooting with it, and it was one of the old ones, so it could hold the hotter load. It was a great gun, and I stopped shooting with those guys, and for some reason I sold the rig and everything, and it ticks me off. But I miss that. I really do miss it. But so I'm out there, and it's my right. It's been signed in the law. But you know what? Now that somebody's called and complained, does that flag me? Does that flag me? Does my political beliefs flag me, which shouldn't happen as well? And so, yeah.
Gene has a good point. They could call me in for coming home from a hunting trip and pulling my guns out of the truck, but you got a bunch of Democrats burning down entire cities because they feel, they didn't get their way.
Well, look at that. I mean, we go back to New York. I mean, you can't go on the subways without being searched by the National Guard. The National Guard is in the subways searching your bags before you go in. So you're telling me that your city that is such bad shape that you can't even go onto the subway, which let me tell you, if you live in those cities, you need the subway because driving is just ridiculous. It's another thing in itself. So now all of a sudden I've got, military officials inspecting me at crosswalks at the things. I'm like going, you tell me in what country is that freedom? You tell me in what country is that right? I mean, this is the same thing. They said no stop and frisk in there, but they're doing this. So it just baffles me.
You know the industry I work in, Mike, and I go into some very large events. I go to the Super Bowl every year, and you would not believe, or you probably would now as much as you keep up with stuff, the amount of security. I mean, they literally do retina scans before we go into the tunnels to get on the field and stuff. And I just booked a trip. Speak of New York, I literally about an hour before we came on the air here, booked a trip for May for work into Manhattan. And you're right, the security is crazy. And there's some places that I travel to, I'd feel a whole lot better if I was strapped.
Yeah,
but I'm not. They take my right to protect myself away. I got to lean on them street smarts. And I got to say, it's been a long time since this old boy's thrown nuts.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't win in the first 30 seconds, and then I'm in trouble because I'm old. I've had an open heart surgery and everything else. And so, I try to be in shape, but it's just the way it is. But I get old. Everybody gets old.
I'm going for your throat. I'm going to try to end it quick.
Yeah, I know. Well, let me say on this one, I'll tell you what. Let's take a little break. We'll hit one of our sponsors real quick. We'll hit LAUER Auto real quick, and of course, Axel and the gang, and we'll come back and we'll hit another one of these points in here before I go off on another tirade, I guess.
Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
All right. Hey, there we go. We're back to gunsinthe701.com. And of course, it's Vance and Mike today taking the air. And we got to thank our sponsors, of course, LAUER Auto and Repair, and also Double H Guns. And you remember, we always say, if there's somebody out there, and if you're one of those people that is one of those people up in the North Dakota area that believe in the Second Amendment, want to sponsor something that is truly Second Amendment, don't forget, you can find us right here, gunsinthe701.com. Clay and all the guys are all on there. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to add you in there to our show and show you what it means to be free and to have a business that doesn't have to worry about cancellations and everything else because people don't believe your stuff. We want people to frequent your place because they know that you're a Second Amendment supporter. So that's just one.
And you do not have to be in the 701. You can support us from anywhere.
Yeah, from anywhere. And I'll tell you what, with that, like I said, I'm 605, or what's your area code now?
678.
What's your area code? 678. So it's got
678.
So, all right, we're rolling through these top 8 out of Colorado. All right, the gunsinthe701.com. Here's you go with the fifth one on this. Gun shop extinction. That's basically what it is. We've talked about this in California. They're trying to do this hardcore. Sponsor Representative Emily Ciorta. The bill would require new state permits for local gun shops with egregious permitting requirements. Of course, these include mandatory FBI fingerprint background checks, which they do already for all employees. Safe storage for all firearms goes back to the same thing with the first one we talked about. Another redundancy on the law already. All the guns have to be put away each night in safes. We've got, of course, random warrantless inspections from the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, a mandatory exam for all employees, and other obscene regulations. The enactment date for that is coming up in July of 2025. So what do you think about that one? Because the mom and pops are already struggling out there. So all mom and pops, doesn't matter if you're a gun store or not, all mom and pops are struggling out there. So this is one more thing.
All of these have a common theme to me. It is a way to slowly but surely take out the Second Amendment, shut down the mom and pop gun shops like H&H and all the little local shops around the country, making it harder and harder for them to do business, which is going to make it harder and harder for us to get guns. And you know what they're going to do, which they've already done on many levels, is create black markets.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, don't care who's watching this, I would prefer to buy my guns privately than go to some FFL.
Yeah.
Not against our FFLs. We've had, in fact, there's some of them on here that are good friends of ours. I have no problem buying them through FFLs, but I would prefer to buy them privately any day.
But I mean, you talk about these mandatory things. I mean, the hoops you have to jump through already for gun stores is tremendous. I mean, the constant threats for the, they're taking away, of course, your right to even uh, plead your case if they say something's wrong, even if it's just a paperwork problem. They're taking that away, and they bring in 8 lawyers that we're paying for through the government, and then they turn around and try to bully all these people into just dropping their case. And what happens? People end up getting out of that business because they can't maintain it anymore because
Right.
of basically threats and cajoling. So
That's right. That's right. Making it harder and harder on small gun shop owners because they don't have the money to continue paying the fees and taxes and everything else that they keep getting thrown at them, and don't have the lawyers to back them up, and it makes it harder. So I just think every law they enact is going after the little man and trying to shut it down.
I truly believe that. I mean, that is just a nonstop attack on the little man and the little shop. And, this is the same Democratic side that says, we're for the little man, we're for the working class and all this stuff like that. And it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You are constantly trying to put impediments in front of the working man who's trying to get things done, trying to get work through the day, trying to enjoy himself when he's off. We're not the criminals. We're not the ones running around causing all these crimes. You know what? Occasionally, some guy who collects guns will go nuts.
That's right.
That's right. 300.
But if you look at the track records, Mike, if you look at the track records, it's not us. We're the gun guys. We're not the guys that are going out shooting them up and doing all the mass shootings and stuff. If you look at the track record, it's the other side.
We talked about it with mental health and when I first came onto the show and stuff like that, where we need a different type of thing for mental health, because people with mental health that are gun owners feel like they can't go and ask for help from the local doctors and whatnot because they're going to be stigmatized and turned into a red flag situation. Whereas, like I said, I wish the NRA, I wish the Guns of America would sponsor their own number for hunters and gun owners to be able to call and be able to talk to somebody with the proper, credentials.
That's right.
But that they don't have to worry about the stigma.
That's right. We talked about that early on when me and you first came on with Clay. That is a big issue, and I totally agree with what you're saying. The NRA or GOA, somebody I would like to see them do exactly what you said, help more with the mental health. And could you imagine who determines that you have mental health issues? Because there's a lot of veterans, you being a veteran yourself, there's a lot of veterans that have seen war. They might have some bad memories. They might have some PTSD. And then now all of a sudden they want to go buy a gun and they're labeled as a nut job because they went and fought for their country and they have some, bad memories and things that spark some hurt in their heart and in their mind. And now they're the bad guy. They're not.
Well, I know we had what's her name out of Maine was pushing that at one time. Of course, she's a Republican supposedly, and she was pushing that the guys that come out of the military should go through evaluation to see if they can own a gun or not, because obviously they've got some baggage. And I'm like, woman,
baggage you put on them.
The guy or girl just came home from Fallujah or wherever and all that other stuff, and they've been fighting a war for our country. And the first thing you can think of besides, let's make the VA work properly, or let's get them the help they actually need instead of just throwing drugs at them. Let's let them smoke pot, for Christ's sakes. Whatever it takes. But instead, we are vilifying them because they come back, and of course, you've got a trained soldier, male or female, and we don't want that in our society. So let's red flag them, and that's exactly what we're doing.
And they're afraid of being red flagged because, I won't mention names and stuff. He might even be on here watching. I don't know. But I have some friends, even my son, who have been to war. And, they might have some bad memories and things that pop up that hurt them and, might cause people to think they have mental issues. It's not
Right.
mental issues. It might be emotional issues. And I just feel like there needs to be more addressed in that area than they do need to keep adding law after law after law and going after people who have fought for our country and the innocent people. They keep going after the innocent people and making them the victims, like someone said earlier, and turning around and trying to make all these criminals seem like they're just upstanding citizens. They're
just misunderstood, or they were put in a bad situation because of
I'm going
society.
to go off and get biblical here as the preacher man, because the Bible literally says that in the last days, and we've been calling it the last days forever, and when we know the last days are coming, we don't know. But I heard a preacher say one time, we are one day closer today than we were yesterday of the end times. But the Bible says that towards the end times, we will be calling good evil and evil good.
Right.
And we are seeing that more and more and more every day. They're trying to make us good guys to be the bad guys. They're trying to make us law-abiding citizens seem like we're the evil ones.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you what, I mean, on the side note, I mean, we're going to be seeing another 2008, 2009 housing thing. I mean, the bubble is already getting ready to burst. We're going to have another thing like that, or depending on what I guess our 2024 election comes up in November, we'll probably see another virus show up as well. So, I mean, it's just nonstop. There's something coming. I mean, and we know it. And, my thing is if Republicans and Democrats can focus on the things that actually matter, not just to their constituents, but matter in real life, matter to clean up laws, to not do frivolous laws, to stop just working for pork. I mean, Clay said it many times. If you came back and you said, I didn't bring any money back for you from the DC for pork. Instead, I literally cut the budget, not just in numbers, but cut the budget by so much percent. You know what? That's what we need. We need more of that. We need to stop spending what we don't have, and people want to say, well, you know what? You don't need guns. I mean, that's not a necessity. Well, apparently it is, because it's in the Second Amendment saying that I have the right, to peacefully, become a militia. I'm trying to look at my phone at the same time. Oh, I got a good note from Jamie. Both his girls are shook up, but physically fine. They ran into a parked car. They're just watching the show now, and of course they're okay. So that's good news. Jamie's kids are all right.
Good news. Hey, Jamie, glad your girls are all right tonight.
Oh, I see the car too. And that's the thing is, it's got to be tough in North Dakota to hit another parked car. I mean, Lord, you got so much open space.
Yeah,
it should be easier to avoid. But anyway.
Yeah, I just got that message.
That
glad they're okay, Jamie. Good to hear.
Glad they're okay. Hey, real quick, we're coming up on the first hour, and of course, we want to make sure we get through all 8. I think we're through 5 right now. So let's take a quick break, real quick, for Lauer Auto, and we'll be back in just a second.
Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
All right, our bullet points. We're up to number 6 real quick, and I'll read through it real quick and tell me what you think about this one. Number 6 out of Colorado, and this is coming to committee tomorrow. This bill bans firearms on all schools and college campuses As for school security officers, 24-hour of behavioral and firearms training is mandatory. I thought that was anyway, with an additional 16 hours of annual training. It seems like it's there anyway. It's also, the enactment date is coming up on 8/9/2024. Now, once again, it's talking about colleges as well in there. And I think it's one of those things you mentioned earlier. It's like, you remember when we were in high school and we had gun racks in the back? You imagine showing somebody 16, 17-year-old a gun rack in the back of your pickup truck now, and then just looking at it like, what? I mean,
15, 16, 17 years old, I think I was driving a 72 Chevrolet pickup truck or an 72. And if they seen my amount of Copenhagen cans, beer cans, and guns and ammo in my truck at that age, they would flip a lid nowadays over that stuff.
well,
I never
like
shot
my son is a turkey hunter. He loves turkey hunting. He won a nice shotgun from the National Wild Turkey Federation, and he loves that stuff that he's got and everything. He loves doing turkey hunting. Loves to go out coyote calling. Loves doing that with his grandpa. His grandpa's got some land that they go shoot on, and it's one of those things where I have to worry because we load up some things into his car, and he goes and meets his grandfather. Is he going to get in trouble? So I have to worry about that. So it's one of those things where they keep throwing these laws at us, and they keep picking away at people that aren't committing crimes, that are taking out coyotes, that are it goes back to the story that I told when I first moved here 20 something years ago. Right before I moved here from Cincinnati, there was a story on at Cincinnati in the news. Talking about how two people who rescued prairie dogs, a pair of prairie dogs, caught the bubonic plague and almost died because they didn't go and get it checked out, and they didn't know what they thought they had the flu. They caught the bubonic because they were saving prairie dogs. Now, we know out here, prairie dogs, I mean, they might as well be born with targets on them, because I'm telling you what, and when you see a prairie dog town, the first thing you think of is, hey, I wonder who owns that property. I need to ask permission if I can come shoot them for them, because normally they'll say, yeah,
And the next thing you think of is, do I have ammo for the 50 count?
A little overkill once in a while, but that's all right. Like a 223 is all right, but
we have done it.
A little overkill. It makes good. It makes good for our videos. That's for darn sure. But
yes.
But once again with these stories, I mean, we're talking about changing, like in college. I mean, if your kid is 18, 19, 20, 21 in college, and is part of a trap team or is part of one of those groups, is a member of the Friends of NRA helping out people in his local chapter, you're in trouble, because you cannot bring that stuff on campus. So you have to have something off campus that you can lock it up. And they say that you can go and set up something with the police officers on campus to lock all your stuff up. I know that, but at the same time, one, you're a police officer on a campus. You didn't make good choices in your life. Why do I want to give my guns to you? I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, we've all known, it's like fast food. When you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and you're working fast food, and you know what? That's good. You're learning a skill. You're dealing with people. You're learning how to work with as a team. When you're 40, 50, 30, 40, 50, you made some wrong decisions in your life, because if you're not the manager, you're a fry cook. And that was not a good place to be in your life. Now, if you're in your 60s and 70s and you're retired, fine, whatever. I mean, that's good for you. You got an extra job. But, there are people make the wrong decisions in their life. And, these kids out there, I mean, they just constantly got to jump through hoops, even when they get up to 21 and more. And we've got all kinds of people in different states that want to knock the law to different ages as well, because we can already send our kids to war
at 18 years old.
At 18 years old,
but they can't drink beer.
They can't drink a beer.
Right?
No, not at all. Even if they can buy it at the PX, they still can't use it. So that's absolutely ridiculous.
And Mike, going back to your point of Jack, say going to meet his grandpa and you putting the guns and stuff in the cart. you as a responsible dad, and Jack, I haven't seen him since he was a kid. I can't believe he's 16 years old.
I know.
But strikes me as a responsible young man and going to be try to do the right thing and obey the laws. Could you imagine a criminal saying, "Oh, well, I better clear this gun. I better lock it up. I better make sure the ammo's here," and trying to do all the right things?
Mhm.
No, a criminal's not going to do that. We
Nope.
do that.
We do it, and we're the ones who get punished. And
That's
the
right.
criminals that are actually committing crimes out there don't get punished. And if they do, they get the minimum time. And they get, for some strange reason, I don't understand that. I mean, it's like if because your circumstances in your life, you weren't raised properly or by proper people or whatever like that, then suddenly you get a pass. I don't get that. I had a crappy life growing up as a kid, and I think I've tried to become responsible every single day and responsible for my actions. You had a long time in your life, in your early life, where you were, a little bit crazed. And you know what? Look how you turned out now. Look how your boys have turned out, and look how everybody else has turned out. I mean, that's the thing. We look upon ourselves in self-reflection and go, I know I can be a good person, and I try every day to be a good person. I wake up and I start off my day trying to be a good person. And no, because I'm a gun owner, apparently I've already got a strike or two against me.
That's right. That's right. And we get labeled because we're the Bible thumping, gun toting, especially down here in the South in the buckle of the Bible Belt. We already, that puts another whole target on us.
Well, CNN and MSNBC, they talk, and when they talk about Georgia, they're like going, well, that's not exactly the educated group. It's the, the non-college. And I'm like going, I'm sorry, have you seen college in the last 20, 30 years? I mean, you come out of there with $100,000 worth of debt that you can't use because your women's affairs degree didn't translate to what you thought it would. I mean, to your art degree. I mean, I was a history.
Taylor Swift's wardrobe.
I was history and I was theater in college. Now, mind you, I didn't go to college till I was 25 because I paid my own dime. But one of the reasons why, because I was acting. So I got to go to a lot of different, I got a lot of ends to go to some auditions and whatnot. And I got some good parts, and I had some chances to do
have
quite
an
well.
IMDb by it?
What's that?
Do you have an IMDb?
No, I do not. I'll go ahead and tell you the two big movies that I'm in. Actually, three. Sleeping with the Enemy with Julia Roberts.
Really?
I'm on the cutting room floor on that one. I did a scene in that outside her hospital, cutting room floor. So never made it there. Also with Danny DeVito and Gregory Hines and one of the Wahlbergs in Renaissance Man.
Cool.
I had a part in the platoon, a speaking role, but I never got the call because I had just broken up with my girlfriend and she didn't give me the message. So I didn't get the message until weeks later when they were filming the extra stuff. And Penny Marshall walked up to me and says, "Oh, hey, Mike, good to see you. I'm sorry we can work together, but maybe next time." And I was like, "Hey, that's great, Miss Marshall." And then I went and found the director, or not the director, the casting director, and was like, "How does she know my name?" He says, "Well, we cast you for so-and-so's role, and you never got back to us, so you figure you're just busy with other stuff." And the worst movie I was in, I was actually filling in for a friend. I'm in the elevator scene for the original Mario Brothers, the movie. I was in a Goomba suit.
I'm actually right now, as we speak, being considered for a role, and I'm only being considered because they needed a middle-aged man that looked like a grip, because it's a behind-the-scenes thing, and I am a grip.
It's a little tight casting, but that's all right.
Yeah, right. But I'm not guaranteed for it yet. It's a SAG position.
That's right.
But we'll see. It's just, for me, it's fun because it's a grip thing.
After a certain point, I gave up on acting and stuck with radio. And I decided, hey, I don't want to make money. I just want to have a steady job. And so I've been there forever since. My wife loves it. She's like, "Oh, great. We get coupons to Papa John's. Great." That's what we get for bonuses. But let's go on to the next one here real quick. Another one. It's the Second Amendment keywords of assault weapons, auto firearms banned. We've heard this one before. We've heard it over and over. We hear it in every state, and let's hear it again because they're going to be talking about it on the 19th in Colorado in the House Judiciary Committee. The bill defines the term, quotation, assault weapons, and prohibits a person from manufacturing, importing, purchasing, selling, offering to sell, or transferring ownership of an assault weapon, which can be anything from a 22 up to whatever. And of course, also, and we talked earlier about bump stocks, also a further bill prohibits a person from possessing a rapid-fire trigger activator. So,
somebody please define assault weapon. Somebody please do that for me right now. We got a lot of
see that gun on that picture right behind you? It's black and scary. It's black and scary, and that's what they were. Yeah.
Now, here, this is black and green.
Well, that's a little more earth tone, so I'm not sure if that fits into the thing. So that it might have to. You'll probably have to go to a court to show them that it's not as scary because it's not black. There you go. And me personally,
the assault weapons thing gets me. It just gets me. This is a cup. It's a what we call these tumblers.
Mm-hmm.
But if I smack you in the head with it, it's an assault tumbler. I assaulted
assault tumbler. And as a matter of fact, I think we need to name them assault tumblers and put them on our store at gunsinthe701.com. Yeah, assault tumblers.
We need black ones.
I like that idea of it.
We need black ones.
Oh, yeah.
Then
with a handle on the side of it that looks like a scope. That'll really tick them off. That'll be great. Assault tumblers. Well, it goes back to the same point again, of course. Let's go after the dirty words, the things that scare everybody. Of course, we've seen some of these stupid shootings at schools and other stuffs in the last year, and they've used things like shotguns, and they've used things like pistols, and they've used all this. But hey, you know what? Let's just keep throwing those words out there because they don't mean anything. They're just one more way of chipping away at everybody from being able to own certain guns. Now, like we said, like
green,
black, green. We just got flagged. It's all right. It's all right. I was expecting it sooner or later. And I don't have anything in this room right now, so that's it. I need to change that. I need to put some stuff on the wall. So, we were talking about this with Clay a few weeks ago, and I got to get my thoughts straight on this one. But let me pull this back up real quick, and then we'll all set. The assault to sell, transferring ownership. So when I die, my guns can't legally go to my son and daughter or my family. They have to become and confiscated and taken off the market. And of course, I guarantee you, because it's happened many times, especially with these gun buyback programs, that cops are picking through those things and taking the very best for themselves, and it goes into their collection. And if you tell me it don't happen, let me go ahead and pull up a few stories for you here on the web, because it has. It happens a lot. Because nobody wants to see guns go to waste, and especially good guns go to waste on a burn pile. This is not Australia. I mean, what we got here from, I was clicking that myself. Oh, you click it. Go ahead. You click it.
They want to ban Jerry Michlik's finger. It's a rapid trigger device. If you don't know who Jerry Michlik is, go YouTube him. The guy, I think Jerry's in his upper 60s.
Yeah.
But that guy's finger is freakish. He is so fast and so accurate. And now his daughter is just about as good. And then you have old member Bob Munden back in 70s and 80s. That guy was a freak of nature. So, and he was shooting single action guns just so fast. He'd shoot 2 rounds and you'd think it was 1. He was shooting so fast.
Well, we talked about it. Now that the lever action is coming back into popularity with all them putting out the new ones and everything like that with the rails on them and everything. Of course, that's going to be the new dangerous gun that they're worried about. Because suddenly somebody watched an episode of The Rifleman and they think, oh my God, that guy can shoot so fast. We've got to stop this. This new technology. That was actually, we talked about that with Jamie. New technology that scares the gun grabbers was lever action. So
yeah. Yeah, and that was actually Chuck Connors. They didn't have special effects to make him look that fast. He had to practice and got that fast with that gun.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. This one really drives me crazy, but I mean, I know we got a little time running out here real quick, but I want to hit the last two ones here quick. That was the assault weapons ban. So we got one more to hit real quick, and I'm going to hit one more ad here real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what's coming up next week and talk about some of the news we've got. Hold on one second.
Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Discover the world of firearms at Bismarck's Double H Gun Shop. With a wide range of products from handguns to rifles, we cater to all your shooting needs. We are your local gun experts. Not only do we sell firearms, reloading supplies, targets, and whatever your heart desires, but we also have a ton of knowledge and answers.
We shoot, we hunt, we compete, we reload.
It's been the Howard's way since 1976, and we ain't fixing to change anything. Visit our website at hhgunshop.com to browse our inventory. Double H Gun Shop, Bismarck's best new and used firearm reloading supply, gunsmithing, and sporting goods store. Double H Guns.
Double H Guns.
1021 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Call 701-223-4888.
All right.
All right. Sorry, I broke in on you
No,
there,
no,
Vance.
you're good.
We got our last one that we got to talk about here real quick. It's coming up in Colorado. Prohibiting the carry of firearm in sensitive spaces. Now, this bill is a carbon copy of California's SB 2, which was struck down by the Ninth Circuit and doesn't seem to matter to them. It bans carrying in almost all public spaces, including churches, colleges, campuses, aquariums. I don't know why aquariums, zoos, etc. The inaction date 7/1/24, and there's a lot of problems with this one. One is that these sensitive spaces are also what we call soft targets. And we say that because I don't want to be a soft target anywhere. I don't want to have to depend that someone else is strapping because they're not worried about being inside a church or whatever like that, because some nut comes in because not only is he a different religion, or maybe he's the same religion, or maybe he's just a nut. Right. You know, sometimes a nut is a nut. It doesn't take any. I mean, Son of Sam was killing people because his dog told him. I mean, sometimes people just are dumb and they do evil things. Right. So, I mean, we talk about this, and of course, it's one of those things where if I own a shop, be it a restaurant or a store or whatever else, and I keep a gun on my side, is that breaking the law? Am I breaking the law by having it even locked in a safe at that business or like that because I have it inside the business? Now, suddenly, it's a bad thing. Churches and everything else example on that. I mean, I just don't understand.
Back when I preached, Mike, I was pastor on the Standing Rock Indian Reservation.
Yep.
Bullhead was known to be kind of a rough area. Was I breaking the law when I had a gun on my side? There was people in my congregation that wanted to hurt me at times because they didn't like
what you were saying.
They didn't like what I was saying. They didn't like me starting drug programs to try to get people off drugs and stuff. So they wanted to hurt me. I had people make very serious threats against me and my family at times. Was I breaking the law to carry a gun while I was preaching to protect my family and my flock?
I'm glad somebody was. I guarantee you weren't the only one. You weren't the only one pro and bad that in your church that was carrying a gun. No, but you know what?
Right now, when I go to church, I trust God first, that gun's my backup.
Am I
Not-
worried when my wife takes me over to the Lutheran church that somebody in my church is going to go crazy? No. But am I worried that somebody outside that church is going to come in because they know Wednesday nights we do the kids' night and this and that, and that's a soft target and an easy thing for them to attack? Yeah. So you know what? I carry, and that's just the way it's going to be. And if I'm the villain for that, if I'm the villain for staying protected in a society that wants to take away rights for people to protect themselves and their family and their community. I sent you a thing a little while ago, and of course I want to talk to you about that down the road, talking about a place in Kentucky or Georgia. I got to remember where it was exactly.
Tennessee.
But what was it, Mississippi?
Tennessee.
Where they all banded together, kind of like a militia, and because the police force there had become so crooked and so maligned that they were no longer protecting any of the people in the town. So the people themselves took it upon themselves to do so. Now, if that happened today, I can't imagine the spin that the people out there would have. Oh my God, these are lawmen and all that, and how could they be bad? Well, like when apparently you don't watch the shows on your own networks, but apparently they can be. I mean, we've seen it too many times. We've seen it more than we've seen the good cop. And you know what? There are good cops. There are. But they're keeping their mouths shut because they know that if they open their mouths, they're going to be pushed out one way or not have somebody supporting their back. And that's the thing out there in the real world, is that if you don't have your partner supporting your back or protecting you, you could be left out in the lurch in any time. So yeah, I don't always agree with it, but at the same time, I understand it. It's like I said, I don't agree, but I understand. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? There shouldn't be a system like that. There shouldn't be bad cops out there that are enough on a force to control that narrative. But there are.
That's right. I'd venture to say there's more good cops than there are bad cops. I've got cops in my family, and I know quite a few of them. You live in a relatively small town up there, and I'd venture to say there's more good cops than there are bad. But there are some that overstep their authority, don't understand the law, and I just want to break down tonight, as we're getting close to the end of this broadcast.
Right.
These 8 laws that we brought to you tonight that are being brought up to be passed are only 8 more added to over 22,000 laws that have been brought against the Second Amendment since it was first written. Will these 8 laws extinguish crime? No. I would even venture to say that it would cause more crime, because you're turning innocent people into criminals, and you're going to create a black market that I am not going to be ashamed to be a part of.
That's right. I totally agree with you on that one, and it's just the way it's going to be. And everyone who goes out and enjoys an adult beverage nowadays like that, one time that was illegal too. Right. Because we got enough people out there that were crazed. And everybody else sat back and thought, it'll never happen. They'll never take away our rights to do this. And what happened? Well, you know what? The roaring 20s, the roaring 30s, and all that stuff. It happened because people ignored their rights. And they it doesn't say that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the happiness may be in the bottom of a glass. But you know what? If that it is, it's my choice. And so I don't want you to tell me otherwise. But whatever it is, if they want to take it away from you, there's a good reason for it. It's because they want to control you.
Right. Let me make my decisions, good, bad, or other. They're my decisions to make.
Yeah. And it just baffles me sometimes. It just totally kills me with all this stuff. So we're going to finish up in a few minutes, but we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We had a good crowd coming on the thing, and of course on all the platforms and everything else. Don't forget to share this as well. And of course, make sure you share it out there for anybody else so they can bring in some new people to watch. We are here every Wednesday at 6 Mountain Time and 7 o'clock Central. And I never write Mountain Time properly when I do another thing.
Before we leave, this guy is not a sponsor of our show.
Oh, yeah.
He is a regular listener and contributor of our show. Grace's Taxidermy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got the meat Griggs. That's right. I did.
Eric Newman. You guys have probably seen him on here before.
Yeah.
He did my elk. He did my 270 buck. He did that mule deer. He's done some other stuff for me. Grizzly Taxidermy. Eric is a great guy, extremely knowledgeable in the Second Amendment, especially hunting and guns and taxidermy. He does incredibly good work. He's an award-winning taxidermist. I highly recommend him. You can look him up, Grizzly Taxidermy. That was a free plug, Eric. You're welcome. You owe me.
There you go. Anyway, I'm not sure. Tessa, of course, down here, she wrote something. She looks more like an advertisement for a gun store and an auto supply store. And I'm like going, we're in a capitalist market where in order to get things done, to buy the computers, to do different things and to get new programs, I mean, they don't come cheap and we don't steal them. I don't quite understand the question, Teresa, but, you know, it is always, that's one of the things I always find weird about people living in a capitalist society who don't like a capitalist society. And I'm not saying that's what Tessa is saying. I'm just saying, but always complaining about it while living in it. And of course, you know, just, I hate to sound like a 1970s guy, but if you don't like it here, go somewhere where they like your stuff. I mean, that's just the way it is.
I really don't understand her statement there.
I don't either. She'll probably clarify with it.
I mean, we literally did advertise for a gun store and an auto store. We did advertise for them. She's not wrong.
No, she's not wrong.
But I don't see a problem with either.
Yeah, I know. Well, we've got a couple of things we want to talk about. One, of course, talk about next week, and of course, our big guest,
Tess and Andrew.
Tess and Andrew are going to be on. And of course, you know, we got Tess, who's been maligned, but I'll tell you what, she is a heck of a patriot, and she has stood her grounds over the years, and it basically shows the strength of character. And we're excited to have her on next week, so that's going to be a fun one. And hopefully, we'll have Clay and everybody else back as well. Also, next week.
I just want to say real quick, you know, a lot of people, because of the bad publicity that Tess has gotten over her, the hunt and stuff, see her as this evil person. My wife and I met her in person. We had lunch with her. We did an interview. We met her dad. We met one of her best friends. She's an absolute sweetheart. She's an everyday person. She's a blue-collar working person, her and Andrew. Very charitable people, do a lot for kids and first-time hunters and veterans. And, you know, she's everything that the antis, she's the opposite of what they try to paint her as. She's a great person.
Well, and, you know, it's true. And they do. They try to paint you with this wide brush that, you know, puts you in all the evil category. And, hey, look, I've got friends of mine. I got a doctor in town that asked me to go to Alaska to hunt bear. And, you know, I work in radio, I reminded him. And unless he wants to put me down as his plus one, I didn't have the money to go do it. But I also got, of course, Dustin Knutson, who owns Boyd's Gunstock with his wife here in town.
Awesome.
He was talking about going over to Minnesota and hunting bear next year. And I was like, well, I want to go so bad. So never got a chance to do any of that when I was in Kentucky when I was younger. So I want to do it now when I'm older. But yeah, it's just like one of those things. So I'm looking forward to talking to Tess and everything else. Also, our big waffle event. I got to see. I got it down, Pat. Next week, well, we're going to go ahead and draw for our big waffle event. So there are 7 tickets that I know of. I think Clay has them for the waffle event for this, and it is does not need an FFL. It is not considered a gun. It is a flamethrower waffle. So don't forget, you can go.
I got to play with one of these in Florida. We started our campfire with it. That thing is absolutely amazing.
If you don't know Clay's number, if you want to find his email, it's on gunsandthe701.com. But you can also go right here and get yourself a ticket right now. As a matter of fact, you always got to figure out the opposite side right there and get it as well. So make sure you do that. And of course, I thank you, Vance, for sticking around and of course helping me out this time. Of course, we're all shorthanded here today, and everybody else, I thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great show once again, and of course, coming up on 1 hour and a half, and that's just about the time that we should do. So once again, next week, big show in planning. We got 701 Nation. I had a great show from Jamie last week, and we got some stuff coming up this week, or actually next week as well. So we're going to be going over some of that. Of course, his life's a little hectic and busy today, and he says that don't text and drive. He was saying that for his girls.
Right.
Don't text and drive. There you go.
Glad they're okay. We're very happy about it.
They said keep, and I got to say this, maybe somebody knows the story better than I do. Eric, keep it out of the hands of Clay. Now, then there you go. Apparently he's not to be trusted with the flamethrower, but that's all right. Next week, we're going to be drawing for that and looking forward to it. So everybody else, we do appreciate. Of course, don't forget LAUER Auto Repair right there. Of course, also talking about Double H guns. Yep, a little advertisement for our friends. And if you want to advertise as well, don't forget to contact us at gunsandthe701.com. And we'll see you again next week, 7 o'clock Mountain Time and 6 o'clock